In this video, I'll discuss the updates available to every Porsche Taycan owner to upgrade their car to the latest software version. So Porsche has launched a campaign to take all Taycans in the US market, so from model year 20 up to 22, and upgrade them to the model year 23 software. This is done through a workshop campaign, so you do need to bring your car to your Porsche dealership and make an appointment with them. It does take a couple days, especially for the older cars, because they're reprogramming a lot of the functions in the vehicle. But once you do it, you'll actually run the latest and greatest software. So the biggest change that you'll see is that you'll now be running Cluster 37, which is the latest software for the PCM 6.0, which is the hardware built into the Taycan. And so the easiest way to know if you have the newest software or not is if you look at your PCM home screen as we are on here and you see color graphics, that means you have Cluster 37. If you have non-color graphics, kind of a grayish scale, that means you have the older software version, and you're going to want to make that appointment to get your car updated. Some other things that you'll notice on Cluster 37, in addition to the colors, is that the apps actually look different. So the tiles are slightly smaller, so you can see more of them. And there's no more recommendation section off to the right. You still have your home screen like we've had before, so you can scroll up and down and select what you'd like. You do have your My Screen over here if you swipe to the right, and you can also hit the home screen as well. And one other thing I'd like to show you while we're on the home screen is that you can actually rearrange these apps. So you'd be able to do that in the previous software versions, but the top row of apps you couldn't change. You could only change the bottom one. In the newest software version, you can take these and move them wherever you want. So you just hold it down and say rearrange, and kind of like your phone, you can drag and drop these where you'd like. Now, one thing I like to do is that you have these kind of hard icons off to the left. And if you want, for say home link is always available no matter what screen you're on, you can take that down and replace it over to the right, say confirm. And now, say I go to vehicle, I still have access to my home link, or again, whatever I have over here to the left, again, regardless of the screen that I'm on. So a nice piece of customization that you're able to do. Okay, so say you had an older Taycan, you got the update done, you get back into your vehicle, you may need to log back into the car, and there might be a few things that you need to set up. Probably the number one things that you'll notice is that when you come in here and you select media, and you had favorite stations saved, they're gone. They're no longer available, at least on this initial screen. And so how do you get those back? Or maybe you're in a newer Taycan and you already have model year 23 software. How do you get to your favorites? Well, the favorites actually live over here on the top source button, and you want to hit the 3 dots for more options, and you scroll down, and here you'll see your favorites. Okay, so if you don't have any favorites set up and you try to select favorites, it says there's no favorites available. If you already have them set up, you should be able to select that, and it pops back up on the top screen. But we do need to save some favorites initially to access that source type now. And so all you do is you come down here, you hit star on the station that you want to save. And so we'll go through here and we'll save some stations. Okay, you can also go to list, and you can favorite some stations just by holding them down. All right, and you can even mix it up. You could do some FM stations as well. So we'll just start one of those. All right, and now that we have them saved, we can come back to more sources, scroll down. Now we can select our favorites, and as you can see, it's up on the top source menu now. So again, star are your favorites.
The route contains traffic delays.
And you can scroll up and down and select the favorite stations that you want. If you want to delete something, you just slide it to the right, or sorry, to the left, and it will delete the station. Okay, if I go back to play, again, I can select my favorites if it's not already there, and it will live on the top there. And what I also like to do is, say you're driving along, you're most likely going to just listen to your favorites as they're set up, once they're set up. And what you need to do is, if you want to kind of scroll through your favorites, you can hit next track. It will start cycling through them. But another option you have is you can hit this little music and icon with 3 lines and get your list of favorites, right? And then you can select from your list and scroll through them. If you need to rearrange or delete them, you can. So if you want to rearrange it, you get to the source button or the favorites sorting, and just use that little arrow up and down to change them around. Say confirm, and again, that's probably the easiest way to use the favorites. Another feature that's new for Cluster 37 is the ability to use Spotify in your car. So just like Apple Music, Spotify is now embedded into the Taycan, into the PCM. And so once you set up your account, you're just able to listen to your Spotify account without using your phone. And so what you do, again, just like Apple Music, you come up here to Sources and Media. You click Spotify. It will display a QR code. And then you just take your camera on your phone, get that close to there. It will open up the Spotify login page. You log in with your Spotify account, give the car or your account permission to use in your Porsche. And once you do that, your Spotify account will now live in your car. And so you can select music, you can favorite songs, you can create playlists, and kind of anything you do on your car will happen on your phone, on your Spotify account, and anything you do on your Spotify account on your phone will happen in your car. And so it's a nice source of integration. And again, so if you're a Spotify user, that will be a nice enhancement for you. Just note that Spotify can take some time to start working after the update, or if you have a brand new car, it can take some time for that to start working as well. All right, the next item we're going to look at is the navigation. So if we go in here, some of the things that have changed in navigation is just an overall improvement really to how the car plans out your route and also gets ready for those fast charging sessions. And so if you're using the car, and you definitely should be using the navigation in a Taycan if you make a long journey and you need to fast charge, and again, as we discussed in other videos, the battery needs to be prepared to accept a fast charge. And so that logic has been updated, and the car will precondition the battery faster than it ever has and more aggressively. And really what we see, the battery, 90 to maybe over 100 degrees Fahrenheit when it's approaching one of these really fast chargers like in Electrify America. And so how do you use that? Well, it's the same as in the previous cars. You can either search for a charger, and so what you want to do is click on the little charging icon at the top, and it's going to find all the chargers that are around you, but using a 6 kilowatt charger is really not going to be any better than, actually it's going to be worse than charging at my house. So how do I find the chargers that I really want to use? There's this new filter all charging stations, and what we can do is we can not only filter by kilowatt or minimum kilowatt, we can do DC. So if you want to find only DC fast chargers, if you only want an AC charger, so like what you would use at home, or if you only want to see chargers that are a certain level, you can do that. You can also say that I just want to see the Porsche charging services, which in this case will display all the Electrify America stations, which are included for 3 years with a Taycan purchase. So again, it's up to you if you just want something that's quick. So maybe you would do like 150 kilowatts or higher. And most likely that's going to bring up Electrify America stations. And as you can see, it is bringing up the Electrify America stations around our location. But if I wanted Porsche charging services as well, again, it's pretty much going to bring up the same results for where the car is currently. And you can see that it's only going to bring up those Electrify America stations. And that way, again, you can take advantage of that charging that's included with your car. So that's a nice feature to have. And so you don't have to sort through all the slower chargers that are out there, and take advantage of the best charging that's out there for the Taycan. Okay, so that's one improvement. And if I were to select one of these and drive around, you would see that the battery temperature, again, over here, would climb significantly as I approach the fast charger. And it will also, as a result, allow the car to charge at like a higher charging rate for a longer period of time. And so your charging sessions in general should be less lengthy as compared to before the update that we're talking about. The next item we're going to look at is the charging planner, and that is the car's ability to plan out your charging route for a destination where you don't have a sufficient charge. And so, for example, if we were to go up to San Francisco, we would need to charge probably a couple times, and the car is going to find the most logical fast charger for us. And we can also play around with the charging parameters a bit, but the car used to occasionally give you a charging stop of 5 minutes when that really wasn't needed. And so that logic has been eliminated. And like I just discussed, the car will more aggressively precondition the battery as you're approaching that fast charger. So let's go ahead and go up to San Francisco and see what the car is planning out for us. So, hey Porsche, take me to San Francisco, California.
Okay, I start route guidance to San Francisco.
All right, so now the car is planning out our route, and it's calculating if we need the charge, and I think we will because it's 436 miles.
The route was changed so that the destination could be reached. The necessary quick charging stations were added.
All right, so you can see the route overview is displaying our two charging stops that we will take. One will be 9 minutes and one will be 20 minutes. The other logic that's, and those are in green now. So those used to be on the right, but gray. It also says high power charger, so you know you're getting that nice fast charge. And then over to the left, the car used to show you all the traffic and construction events along your route. Now it's only showing you things if it causes a delay in your ETA. And so you can go over here and you can select these, and you can see what is going to be causing a delay, where it is, and the distance. Okay, so it's less information to look at, just actually more useful. The other thing you can do is if you don't like this view or you have seen it and you're good, you can go ahead and slide that up with a little arrow, and if you need to bring it back, you can as well. Another nice thing is, and I mentioned this before, is you can click on here and you can see the full route overview. And so those little white flags will be the charging destinations, and we can actually tap those if we want to see more information. So for example, we're going to stop up at Electrify America in Bakersfield. It's 350 kilowatts. We're going to go from 18 to 60%. It's only going to take us 9 minutes. Okay. And then another option you have is you can also select the fast chargers over here and basically get the same information. So the second charging stop we're going to make will be in Firebaugh at Electrify America, 350 kilowatt, and we'll go from 10 to 80% state of charge. So that'll be a nice charge, but the car is saying that it's only going to take about 20 minutes for that to happen. The ETA is also been improved to allow some time when you do make a charging stop. The car assumes now that you have to get off the freeway, you need to, get out of the car, unlock the charger, and actually put it into your vehicle. So that takes some time. So that's adding some additional time to your estimated time of arrival, just so it's more accurate. We discussed this in other videos, but you can also adjust the state of charge that you will arrive at. So in this case, we're going to get to San Francisco at 7:02 p.m. With 22% state of charge. And so if I wanted to change that, again, I would go down here and go to the charging plan. And here is where I can select some parameters about the route that it's planning out for me. So obviously we want to use the Porsche Charging Planner. You have to have that selected for it to plan out your route. I highly recommend that you prioritize the Porsche Charging Service. That way it's just looking for those Electrify America stations and it's going to prioritize those for your route. And then another thing you can play with is the minimum charge at destination. 22% will get you some charge so you can drive around. But again, if your final destination is not a hotel that has a charger, if you want to start doing things in San Francisco, you might want to change your final destination to actually a fast charger up at your destination, or you can slide this around and the car will calculate. So say I want to arrive with about 50% state of charge, and I go back.
Is being calculated.
Now the car is going to recalculate the route and figure out what we need to do in terms of charging to get to San Francisco with 50%. So I think that's really useful, especially depending on what you plan on doing. Again, if you're just going to a hotel and you're going to sleep and they have a charger there or nearby, that could be convenient. You might not have to do that. But in this case, we're actually picking up another charging stop. Let's go ahead and click on it at the premium outlets in Livermore. We're going to go from 15 to 65%. And that way, when we get over to San Francisco, we will have some useful range to get us around to wherever we need to go. So again, just some options there. And like I mentioned before, the car will precondition that battery faster, so you get a better charging session when you arrive at those charging stations. In addition, you can actually hit the top ETA to see the route overview. And so if you want to see where you're going to stop and the charging sessions you're going to make, you can take a look at those, and you can also rearrange those as needed or change them and delete them if you'd like. There are some additional changes depending how your Taycan is equipped. So if you have an all-wheel drive model, there is a logic change to using range mode. And so just a reminder, if you want to use range mode, you click on the little car icon, you click into drive mode, and you select range. If you have the chrono dial or drive mode selector, you can do that on the steering wheel. But in range mode with all-wheel drive models, the logic used to be that it would shut off the rear motor if not needed and just drive the front. And what they found out is that it was actually more efficient to shut off the front motor and just drive the rear. So that logic change will actually get you a little bit better range as a result. And then with the all-wheel drive models, you do have the option in the left display, the left tube, to show the all-wheel drive energy flow. And so it can show you if the energy is going to the front or the rear wheels or both. So if you haven't gotten the update in your Taycan yet, so if you have, model year 21, 20, or some early 22s, get with your Porsche dealer, make an appointment, and they will upgrade your system. So again, if you don't see the colors on your PCM screen as you see here, you have the older software version. It's a free update. It can take a couple days, especially for the older cars. And so you might not be able to get into the dealer right away. And when you do drop it off, they'll probably need your car for at least a couple days to get the update done. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you.